Ohio State Sports Network brings you Extended Buckeye Postgame, presented by Encova Insurance. Here's your hosts, Brandon Beam and Tim Hall.
Oh, no.
It's a great night to be a Buckeye. Ohio State gets things done against Iowa 35-7. I am Brandon Beam. He is Timmy Hall. Slight, minor technical issue, but we're rolling. Timmy, happy Buckeye College Football Saturday to you.
You know what? If that's the worst thing that's going to happen on a victory Saturday when the Buckeyes beat Iowa here, then I think we're in good shape. I'm doing great, Beam. Our microphones work, so we're going to have a great show now. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. It's great. College football, got to love it. It's a big sport. We should invest in it in the future. I just heard, obviously, Paul and Jim talking about this as they were getting ready to go off the air. We were ready to come on the air. One of these days happens every once in a while, and it's great because Vanderbilt just took down Alabama.
Yeah.
We got the field storming going on down there in Nashville. And it's just a little bit reminder of why we love college football so much. We'll have plenty of time to break down Ohio State and Iowa. It's just one of those days, Tim. One of those days.
It is. The number one team in the country goes down to Vanderbilt. You just got to always be ready. Yeah. It just goes to show you, look, the game that Ohio State found itself in the first half had a lot of people wondering. There was a tiny, tiny pocket of the Michigan State game where you felt that. But it's early, right? And a game that's why you play 4 quarters. That's why you give Ohio State their chances to come out. They're proving to be a really good second half team.
Yes.
And teams that can pounce in the third quarter and really cover up a lot of mistakes, that's a recipe for success. And again, you're seeing a team that took advantage of turnovers. These are all things that are going to amount to winning football games and being a championship team. To see something like we happened down in SEC country today, that's the old mess around and find out equation. And I'll tell you, you guys are probably going to see this later on. You will see a individual's meltdown of epic proportions. Malachi Moore, Alabama star defensive back,
lost his mind.
Remember it on NFL draft night, scouts and GMs. The guy's not fit to be a pro. I can't even tell you. You'll want to watch the last 90 seconds and see how badly this guy melted down.
Big congrats to Vandy. 22-game losing streak against Alabama, and then it's the first time they've ever beaten an AP number 1. Before we get to the issue at hand with the Buckeyes, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Always and forever, your Ohio State flagship station.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You know, you had to feel pretty good at the start of the game for Ohio State, Tim, because they go down, they force a nice, 5 and out, 6 and out for Ohio State defensively because Iowa got the ball at first. I think Iowa got a first down on their first possession, and then they punted to Ohio State. The first drive for Ohio State, you had to feel great, right?
Yep.
Because you get the ball on your own 12-yard line, and you clinically move the football down the field. It is a 14-play, 88-yard drive, which results in you going up 7-0. You ate up almost 7.5 minutes of game clock. Half of the first quarter is gone. And then Iowa's offense comes alive a little bit. They have the long field goal attempt. You get the ball back, feeling good. Turnover on downs. We went for it on a 4th down. We can get to that play call. And then you have a Jeremiah Smith fumble. And then you punt. And then you have an interception. I was a little bit let down, and I think a lot of fans, too, who are probably listening in or you were at the game, the way that you moved the ball on the first possession of the game, Tim, and then everything you kind of saw for the remainder of the half left a lot more to be wanted from this Buckeye offense, at least in the first 30 minutes of this football game.
Let's break down that first drive that you got to as well, because, yes, that's what you want, right? And this was the type of game where that made sense to a lot of us, right? It's Ohio State, it's Iowa. These are 2 of the best run defenses in the country. But what do you want to do when you're facing a good run defense? It almost makes you want to commit to running the football even more. It's not like we're looking across the field and seeing, Iowa's got good rush defense numbers, so we just better be throwing the ball 56 times. That's not how any good football coach is going to go and game plan it. You have to have a commitment to run the ball. And they did that there, and I think there were some spots where maybe they even got away from that a little too much, and they should have gone even heavier with the run game. And that's why I think you saw the offense stall a little bit after that drive. I will say when we start to diagnose Will Howard and his performance today, numbers-wise, in the end, it's going to look all right because he started to find these unbelievable weapons that he's got. And not to say that, some of them, I love the throws where you can just simply ask the question, catch or throw? Like, which one won out? What was the better one? And the ones to Mecca in the end zone there, I thought you could make that argument. The one that he dropped right on his shoulder pad, I think that was touchdown 2 of 3 for Mecca. You know the one I'm talking about. He just left little corner. Dime ball right in there. Mecca couldn't even extend his arms. It just went right to his shoulder pad and stuck. So Will can do some really nice things, but he had that throw on the 3rd down and 10 to Rodgers. Can't throw that ball.
But he did, and he completed it.
Don't. You just don't need to be throwing that ball out like that, because that could be a pick six against some of these talented DBs against Iowa. He, of course, had one that he was flat-footed, had pressure in his face, couldn't get the ball out to Mecca. That one did get picked off. I also don't know how the refs gave them that spot back to the Rodgers catch. So that helped him on that first drive. But not to take away from a lot of plays and a lot of clock chewed, and then finishing up with a nice touchdown in the air to get the 7 on the board and taking a 7-0 lead into halftime. Look, it's Big Ten football. It's big boy football. I'm not going to kill these guys for that when they come away with the win on the scoreboard that they did.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Will Howard at the end of the day, 21 of 25, 209 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then the 1 pick. It was a good day at the offense. It was a good day at the office for Will Howard. It was a really, really good day, and it helps when you got guys like Emeka Egbuka out there. But let's take the first half before we get to the second half and where the game really turned on its head, because Ryan Day was even talking to Paul and Jim, and he was talking at his press conference about what was going on and kind of how the game flipped into the third quarter. You get into these games, though, Tim, and I don't know what you guys were talking about this week, but for me, this was a special teams game, and this was a turnovers game. Now, you ended up winning the turnover battle 3-2 with some late ones there. But you start to get into Big Ten play a little bit more. You go on the road next week to Oregon. You can't have the JJ fumble. You can't have the pick. You can't have yourself setting up a short field on the defensive side of the football. You just can't do it.
And that is why when we go into these big-time road environments now, you're going to play the number 6 team in the country next week. We had this game circled for a long time for a reason. It is going to live up to its billing the week going in. What could the TV executives want, right? What more could you want? You thought this might be one of the 1, 2, or 3 best games of the entire regular season. The week going into it, it absolutely will be billed that way. Time will tell if it's that way afterwards. So we need to see Will Howard be able to complete a 4-quarter game now in conference without having a couple of those throws that could change a whole lot of good just like that. It happened one time. He had the pick, and he could have had another one almost the same way that Michigan State went. He had a pick, and he should have had another one against Michigan State. Luckily, he just had the one. He had the 4 touchdown passes. Also, not going to put it all on him. We need to take a look at what play you're going to run when you've got Quinshon Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson. Yes. When you got a 4th and a long 2. You and I both agree, go for that all day. Absolutely. Dial up your best and go for that. But Will looked hesitant there, like he didn't know, where exactly he was going to find the crease. And look, it's Iowa's defensive line. You just got gobbled up. A couple of linemen got beat on the play. It happens, but it wasn't the best play that could have been called there.
No, I thought on the ground Ohio State was terrific, though. I mean, when TreVeyon and when Quinshon were touching the ball and getting going. And we also saw Will Howard being dialed up for runs a lot today. I mean,
and he did run it well. Yeah.
He had 10 carries for 28 yards, only averaging 2.8. But he did have the long rush for 12 right there. And I'm just telling you, I don't know as a defensive coordinator. This is a good Iowa defense. You could pick out any Iowa team over the last 25 years, and you know exactly what their characteristics are going to be. They want to establish the run on offense, and they're going to smother you on defense. I mean, today, Tim, 412 total yards, 209 through the air, 203 on the ground. I think this Iowa team, and I don't have the stats right in front of me, we're averaging 62 yards on the ground against them.
Yes,
Iowa defense.
Yeah, they were top 4 in the country.
Top 4.
It was Ohio State and Iowa were less than like 0.2 yards away from each other.
You had 110 yards at halftime. All right, so this was a big boy game by the running backs.
Yeah.
And this offensive line, for as much as we've talked about them over the last few years, they are finally starting to hit their stride because those guys who were carrying the ball for Ohio State today had some room, and then they were able to get to the second level and make guys miss and just run over their face. There were tons of times today where Trey and Quinshon were putting down their pads and just running people flat on over.
It's just a much better running game than we've seen here in some recent years. And it's much to do with Chip Kelly and what he's brought. And the commitment to block from their wide receivers and their tight ends. I mean, we could talk about the improvements that we're seeing from the offensive linemen out there, and we're seeing that. But I think it's all these other guys. It's the receivers and the tight ends. And even guys like Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, when Will's going to step back to pass, if you're not, going into max protect mode, you've got a running back that's willing to go up there and crack a blitzing linebacker right in the mouth. So he has an extra step or two to deliver the football. It's all these things right now that this Ohio State offense has clicking. And 5.1 per carry for a game against one of the best rush defenses in the league. When in the NFL are we ever upset with that? Like, we think we need to, average 10 or 11 per carry. That's not real life. That's not real life football. We get into the end. That's legendary type of stuff. 5.1 per carry, I'm going to do that. I'm going to run the ball 40 times if we're running the ball like that.
And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did today. Again, 203 on the ground for Ohio State in the run game. No running back scored a touchdown in the game because they drew up that play to Will Howard, and he put it in the end zone for the
But he rushed it in either way.
He did. He got it in. He got it in. So he scored a rushing touchdown against them. Let's take a look at the defensive side of the ball, shall we? Because as impressive as it was on the offensive side, Tim, you know what I was going to give you on the offensive side? It's usually not very good, but you did your job. I mean, outside of a few drives where Iowa was moving the football and you had some issues, maybe in coverage, that they need to get a little bit shored up. There's plenty of things to work on coming out of this game. I thought it was an unbelievable game by Sonny Styles. It was by far his best game as linebacker in an Ohio State uniform so far this season, bar none. This game was built for a player like him.
He's a great player. He's fantastic. The fact that he has stepped down from his position as a safety, we're going to talk to James Laurinaitis in the next segment, so he's in his room now. I can't imagine a young coach like James Laurinaitis who played that position with reckless abandon, loving a player like that, that's molding in, that is switching positions and learning it this quickly and excelling at it. I don't think many of us are surprised because people that cover the Buckeyes that are based in Central Ohio knew about Sonny Styles at Pickerington Central. And for me, he's one of those short list players. You all have those guys that you saw in high school, right? Mm-hmm. And you just say, oh, he's different. That's different. Like, that's big time players that are going to be NFL dudes. And it's just,
he could have been an NBA guy too.
It seems unfair that he gets to be out here because he's so good. Like, he was one of those guys at Pick Central. So it's not at all shocking that he's doing this. Their linebacker play in general
was great.
Arvell Reese gets to be out there because you're going to match up with the way Iowa's going to, position their offensive line and the big packaging that they're going to go with there. He's been great. He's a hit stick. Cody Simon is all over the place wearing the block O and looking real good. I love their linebacker play.
Fumble recovery as well.
Yes.
A little bit later on in the game from Cody Simon. It all doesn't happen without the guys up front, though. I thought defensive line as well. Another game-wrecking performance by those guys. Really in the first half, Tim, I mean, those guys were defensive line were doing their job. I thought Cade McNamara was just making some pretty good throws on open receivers, and he was kind of moving around and doing his thing. But once they kind of figured out what Iowa was doing, I feel like they put the clamps down pretty good. I mean, only 226 total yards allowed, 110 through the air for Iowa, and 116 on the ground. You allow Caleb Johnson to 15 carries and 86 yards. It's a good day in the office.
No, I didn't have any issues with the defensive line play today. A bunch of TFLs. You had 4 sacks, quarterback hits, quarterback hurries, forced fumbles, creating those turnovers and the quick ones too, right? Like, they get the ball, boom, we get the ball right back.
Yeah.
Like, those those are game-changing. Those clear a lot up in a hurry, and they give you room to breathe. They make you comfortable. My one last little issue, reverting back to the pass defense for Ohio State, I would love to see them get this figured out to where on third down situations, even 3rd and 8, 9, 10, or 11, you are not just giving up all of that yardage right to the first down marker. I know there's a way that you're trying to play soft and keep everything in front of you, but you've got to find some kind of middle ground there where you're not just giving up those receptions to let the opposition continue a drive. That's it, because you're going to be playing better competition, and there's something to say for keeping things in front of you, but you just can't give up methodical drives up and down the field. I'm not saying they did that today, but there's a couple of examples of it again this afternoon.
There's plenty to work on. Getting ready for Oregon. There's plenty to work on, and the best part is you won the game 35-7, so you get to learn and you get to enjoy a nice little Saturday victory.
That's the way.
Today's broadcast is presented by Safe Light Auto Glass. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe: Ohio State takes down Iowa 35-7. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by linebackers coach James Laurinaitis as the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
We have acres of brand new Chevys, Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, and Ram vehicles, as well as used cars and trucks that you're looking for at the Jeff Weiler Columbus Auto Mall in Canal Winchester. And if we don't have what you're looking for, we can find it at one of our 23 other locations. So come shop the lot or view over 2,000 cars right at your fingertips at JeffWeilerColumbusAutomall.com. Plus, use Weiler Direct to see monthly payments, value your trade, and get pre-approved. Rooted in family, driven by you.
We've got a story about a little bean doing big things. Soybeans are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we use every day. And Ohio's farmers are growing some of the world's best soybeans. By using and eating soy-based products, you make a positive impact locally and globally. Say hey to the largest ag export in the U.S. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Hear every Buckeye game every year. The Fan.
You can join us Thursday at noon for the next Ryan Day Show presented by Roosters. If you have questions about today's game or the upcoming matchup in Oregon, you can submit them via X at OSU Coach or go to OhioStateBuckeyes.com. Click on the Ryan Day Show inbox icon. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe: Ohio State takes down Iowa 35-7. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
Buckeye fans, are you game day ready? Ohio State football is back, so get in the zone by adding nutritious and delicious pork to your tailgate menu. Ohio pig farmers are raising wholesome and versatile pork to be the nutritional powerhouse that you need to watch every Buckeye touchdown this season. Head over to ohpork.org to find game day worthy recipes and to learn more about how real Ohio pig farming families care for the land, the water, and their people every day. This ad is paid in part by the Pork Checkoff.
Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. Home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. Now back to the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Back here on the postgame show, Buckeyes get it done in a big way against the Hawkeyes of Iowa. We're now joined on the postgame show by linebackers coach James Laurinaitis. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations on the big win. Second of all, how'd you take it in today? Your guys were flying around on that football field.
We were, but, as you a coach, you always kind of think of the negatives, right? And I wish we would have been able to preserve the shutout there. We kind of had some opportunities to get that back down, and we wanted to really keep him out of the end zone. It's a great challenge. Anytime you go against Iowa, it is a challenge about toughness. They're going to do what they do. They're going to run their plays, their scheme. They believe in it. And it's about getting off blocks and being physical. And I felt like we had to really challenge the boys all week to practice that. Coach Day did a great job of setting the tone all week for the boys, and I think we just got to continue that mindset that when we are getting downhill and we're flying around, getting to the ball, that's the way that you have to play a linebacker here when you come to Ohio State.
And it was that case, too, today, Coach, because, your guys, Iowa's always really good at rushing the football. Have you seen the evolution? I know that you haven't. You've been around the program a long time, and especially this offseason. Big transition from Sonny going from safety and now into your room and linebacker. And today, Coach, he really seemed like he hit the gas pedal, leading the team when tackles with 7 of them.
Yeah, we challenged Sonny. I challenged him, say, hey, last game on that first drive, there were some plays that kind of occurred that, he wanted back. And the challenge as a player always is you got to move on to the next play within the game, and you got to move into the next game, within the season. He did a heck of a job all week. He's one of the easiest guys to coach. We really have a great room of guys who love to study film. They love to get in there and get all the details. It was nice to kind of see that production carry over from stuff that I've seen every single day in practice.
James, one of the players that we've gotten to see, step onto the football field a lot here recently is Arvell Reese. What can you tell us about coaching him and his motor? He seems like he loves to hit people, James.
Who is that? You cut out a bit. Are you talking about Arvell?
I'm talking about Arvell Reese, and how much he loves to hit people.
Well, you cut out a little bit, but once you said something about hitting people, I knew you were talking about 20.
Yeah.
He's been a joy, to see his growth from last year to this year and his understanding of the scheme. I think it's been fun to kind of see his growth as a player. He's always been very good with his hands. He's always been one that you never had to worry about getting to the football with bad intentions. It's just about detailing the stuff out with him every single day. And I think the job that he has done to get better, not only on the field, but in the meeting room with taking notes and kind of being a pro, is carried over to the field. And so we got to continue to push Arvell because I think that the sky's the limit for that young man and what he can be as a linebacker.
He is linebackers coach James Laurinaitis with us here on the post-game show. I always know it's a big deal, especially when you're going against a team like Iowa to win the turnover battle. How about your guys and the 3 turnovers you guys forced today?
Well, that's huge. That's been the thing the last few weeks, I think. Drives can happen. Yards are going to happen in college football. But if you punch the ball out, if you take the football away from the offense, it gives you a chance with our lethal offense to put up points quick. I think that's what you saw happen a week ago in East Lansing, and I think that's what you saw happen today in the third quarter. You're able to get that ball back, the offense goes and scores, and I think it can be defeating for the opponent. So we got to continue to do it. We work it, punching the football. It's been a point of emphasis since spring ball when Coach Knowles kind of put it in front of the defense, and we need to be better at taking the football away. Because if you want to be a great defense, that's what you got to do. You got to take the football away, and you got to hold them to as few points as possible.
And James, you got to love it as a linebacker coach when you've got a defensive line that can play like that. There was even the play today, right beam, where Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau meet each other in the backfield. And it's like what we would do with the boys when we were roommates. Somebody get down, and then we'll push the guy over you, and he'll trip.
Tabletop.
A little tabletop move, right? Like they were menacing today, James.
They were, and they do it all the time. They really do. They are 2 pros that practice that way every single week. And so whenever you see it show up on game day, that isn't a surprise to anybody because they always go about it every single day. They go about their work. And so I think that's the most important thing you try to teach the young players, right, is that, for instance, if Lathan Ransom punches out a ball in the game, well, he's already done that 15 times in practice, right? Jack and JT have done these pass rush moves. They've worked. They've run to the football every single day in practice. That's why it shows up on Saturdays. You can't just show up on Saturday and flip a switch on. It doesn't exist. So I think that's the way you got to keep pressing all those guys.
Coach, before we get you out of here, big one coming up. Ohio State fans have been circling this one for a long time. On the road, Eugene, Oregon, prime time next week. You guys got to be pumped about that.
it's exciting. This is what you play college football game. It's what you're excited about this sport, right? It's these opportunities to go out to Eugene, play in front of a great crowd, great environment, a good football team. Watching them last night, obviously very talented, and be a great challenge for us. We look forward to the week of preparation.
Absolutely, buddy. Appreciate the time. Thanks so much for hopping on with us here. Big congratulations to you and the family. I know you just added a little one about 8 days ago, so I'm sure no sleep for you in sight, but always appreciate the time.
Yeah, at any time, man. Finally got a baby boy, so it's nice to have. We got 4 of them now, and he has 3 big sisters that are ready to spoil him with some Taylor Swift.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy. Always appreciate it.
Anytime.
There he goes, linebackers coach James Laurinaitis with us here on the post-game show. It's great stuff from him. Obviously, him and his wife, Shelly, just welcoming a baby boy last Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday evening.
Wow.
Made the trip to Michigan State last week and then turned around full...
in it. You're in it.
Full week of work, too. I mean, he's not taking any time off from the football, and then he's going home. And
how can you?
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And that's
Crazy.
tough, too. That's got to be really, really hard.
It's also very hard for me to call him coach. It was a little tough for me because when James
spent some time at our local radio station.
He did spend some time at the local radio station, and I produced for him for a couple of years. So that is very odd. But that was great to catch up with him and talk some football with him because his guys played awesome today. Again, best game Sonny Styles has played.
Yeah, he's got good players in his room right now that we talked about there. That's got to make the job fun. And I hope that it is, because that's got to be a strain and a stress. Like, we sometimes lose sight of the fact that these guys are people too and have 4 kids, and then the stresses of coaching this football team with the demand and the expectations that we have as a fan base for every single facet of the game. Our whole purpose here is to nitpick every little thing that goes on. I'm just watching. I keep the highlights as a loop here, and I'm here watching Will Howard's ball fall a little bit short to Jeremiah Smith. Why don't you throw that thing out a little bit farther, Will? It would have been a touchdown for number 4.
And then earlier in the game, he actually overthrew him.
Right. Don't do that. Find the spot in the middle. That's what we do.
That is what we do. Today's broadcast is presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe. Ohio State dispatches the Hawkeyes of Iowa 35-7. Coming up next, we're going to check your scoreboard from across the country in a big upset.
What happened?
Big upset down in SEC land as the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger, where you'll find over 30,000 mouth-watering choices that excite your inner foodie. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices, plus extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week. You can also save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with fuel points. More savings and more inspiring flavors make shopping Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut, to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Join us Monday night at 6 p.m. for our next Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King. Our broadcast team of Big Daddy Paul Keels, Jim Lachey, Coach John Cooper, and Skip Mossick will break down today's game and preview next week's matchup at Oregon. That's Buckeye Roundtable Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe. Buckeyes 35, Hawkeyes 7. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams. The agile, get it done teams. the Achieve More Together teams, and the Improve People's Lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmiler.com. Go Bucks! Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
It's Bobby Carpenter. Join us Monday morning at 6 for the Morning Juice on 97.1 The Fan.
This is the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Will Howard, front man in the pistol behind center. Seth McLaughlin gets the snap. Takes the handoff, rolls to his right, throws toward the goal line. Caught, touchdown. Is grabbing the ball and being slung out of bounds after making the grab. Emeka Ibuka comes up with his 3rd TD catch of the year. Calling it in for Will Howard, and he gets the Buckeyes on the board, leading 6-0.
That guy's pretty good. Don't forget about him. 9 catches, 71 yards, 3 touchdowns, had a long of 15, targeted 10 times. Emeka Ibuka, standing ovation for you, sir. I was listening to Clay during the game, talking to Paul and Jim and talking to Emeka. What is he, 7th all-time in touchdowns and 10 in catches all-time in Ohio State history? Well, it's either that or it's reversed.
We know. I'm gonna
he's
check,
10 and 7th.
I'm going to check what Emeka is. 71 yards today. So I know this probably isn't going to update his stats when I look at the little ESPN bucket. So he had 21 catches for 362 coming in to the day. So put that up to 431. Yeah. So if he gets to the low range of the thousands, like I think 1,100. If you think about 1,100 receiving yards, he'd be the all-time leading receiver in Ohio State school history.
It's pretty good. It's a good list too.
And
he's
got
good guys.
He's got ways to go, but with a longer season now, all that counts, right? Postseason play counts. Conference championship game counts. We got Jeremiah Smith there as well, so he's going to be gobbling up some yards for sure. But to see him approaching 500 yards receiving already, he's about to go over where he was in 2023. Yeah. With all the injury issues. It's just great to see him healthy. Great to see him get a 3-touchdown catch game. Those are rare. That's awesome.
Yeah, it sure is. It's very rare for what's going on.
Awesome stuff. And the touchdown catches, too, none of them were of the simple variety where you were uncovered. How many times in college football when somebody has one of these big stat buster types of games is something a broken coverage and you just get to saunter in from 80 yards, or, I mean, we've seen Emeka do it. You take a slant and you just use your speed. You just run away from everybody. All 3 of these touchdown grabs were grabs in traffic, and he had to come up with the football, get his feet in, secure the catch all the way to the ground. Those types of deals, I think that's the best way.
So the leader all time in Ohio, this is for single game history. If he were to get one more today, now he didn't do it. He finished the day with 3.
A 4-touchdown grab game?
You have 3 Buckeyes who share the honors for 4 touchdown
Can
games.
I guess?
Sure, go ahead.
Can I guess some?
Yep.
Terry Glenn,
1995.
Notre Dame? Or I think it's a Notre Dame game. Does he have 2?
Don't know.
It just says Terry Glenn. I was thinking the Pitt game and the Notre Dame game. David Boston?
No David Boston.
Okay. Chris Olave?
No Chris Olave.
Garrett Wilson?
No Garrett Wilson.
Marv?
No Marv.
Okay. Chris Carter?
You work with this guy sometimes on your local
DeVere?
show. Not DeVere.
Dane Sanzenbacher?
There you go. There's the one.
Oh my gosh.
And then there's one more. And
Dang, good for you, buddy.
And it was a road game, which I was at, and it was down in Oklahoma and Norman. Noah Brown. Noah Brown.
Yes, he had the catch behind somebody's back. One of the all-time great catches.
Of course.
Oh, sorry, Noah Brown. Noah Brown is a fantastic football player.
Yeah, he is.
He has been hanging around the National Football League ever since he left Ohio State. In a lot of those years, you might not have been seeing it. He wouldn't have been on your fantasy team. You wouldn't have been seeing him in the stat department, but he was a active roster, 53-man guy with the Dallas Cowboys because he could play on special teams, and he could run and tackle, and that keeps you around in the NFL. Good on him. And he actually is a pretty good receiver, too.
He's had a heck of an NFL career. All right, there's a lot going on in the college football world. Let's hit our scoreboard. Where do you start, Tim? Where do you even begin? You're in the 3:30 window as the Buckeye game. Your game ended around 6:45, so you had the matinees, the noon games going. We got the primetime games rolling on here right now.
Let's do this time. Let's give some of the scores that are going on right now.
Okay.
And then get to some of this fun stuff because I feel like you don't want to give your best right at the very beginning. People might just be tuning in. People might have stayed, they may have been at a wedding and they didn't get to see some of this college football goodness. They might not have any idea what happened. So we'll just go nice and soft with this. Second quarter, Clemson's beating up on Florida State 20-7, heading towards half. Florida State.
Yuck.
What a disaster.
Bad.
A disaster. What would you say about DJ Uiagalelei's college football career?
Well, I mean, he's hurt. He's not even playing in this game.
I know he's out, but this would have been the Florida State-Clemson game, playing his old team. It just didn't work out for him. How about this score? 42-17. Boise State is a team to be feared for a team that could wind up being in the college football playoff. They're beating up on Utah State 42-17 heading towards half. How about Ashton Jeanty?
How about him? He has now reached, and I don't have his updated numbers for what he's doing in the game. He has 10 carries for 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. He reached 1,000 rushing yards on the season before he got to 100 carries. He had 90 carries, 1,004 yards, and 15 touchdowns. That was at 8:06. I don't know what he has done in the last 30 minutes.
I can even tell you that's over 10 yards per carry.
About 11.
Yeah, that I can even tell you without even having to do a whole lot of math. So 10:59 left to go in the second quarter. Arkansas is up 3-0 on the number 4 Tennessee Volunteers. Careful there, Tennessee.
Don't want to let down.
Careful there. I know you haven't beat Arkansas on the road for 3 straight games.
More ranked action going on right now. Baylor is taking it to Iowa State in the middle of the second quarter. 8:44 left to go before half in that one. That game
undefeated.
Yes, they are. 4-0. May not be for long. Still a long way to go in this. Baylor 14, Iowa State 6. Looks like Baylor's going to be punting the ball back to the Cyclones. In the Big Ten games going on right now, at least for ranked foes, Timmy, Michigan traveling to Washington. The Huskies with a 14-7 lead right now. Michigan just scored their touchdown. 5.5 left to go in the second quarter before halftime. And then USC, weird game for them, traveling to Minnesota in the Big Ten. Minnesota trails 7-3 against USC. 6 minutes left to go, but Minnesota in the red zone currently right before halftime. And that again, USC leads 7-3.
It's another one of those weird games where you're just going to have to get used to, Bean.
Yes, you are.
Because they're gonna keep happening. And Ohio State, is this a weird game going to play Oregon next week in a Big Ten game?
Traditional football, well, not traditional football powers, but
it's a great matchup.
But USC on the road at Minnesota, it's just weird.
USC at Minnesota is not what we thought of the good that all this mess could bring us. Yes. Ohio State at Oregon,
great.
That's part of the good. Ohio State at USC, part of the good. USC at Ohio State, that's part of the good.
USC at Minnesota, weird.
USC at Rutgers, strange.
That's going to be a Friday night football game. Actually, it's Rutgers at USC later on, and it's like an 11 o'clock start.
Now that you're doing this, what to you would be just the most mind-boggling, confusing Big Ten matchup to see now?
USC at Illinois. It's just
I was going to say USC at Maryland.
Yeah, strange.
Just go all the way out there, the strange uniforms. And Will Rogers, by the way, Washington's quarterback, he has put up some pretty good numbers. He's got 2 touchdown passes. He's got both the scores for Washington. And, of course, we'll see what the Huskies' response is going to be. Later tonight, you'll still have number 8 Miami in a game that is weird, right? Another weird game. They're on the road at Cal. That's conference play. That's ACC play. That's a 10:30 kickoff. Now, without further ado, the number 1 team in the country, that is Alabama.
Big win last week.
Big win. You got to keep it rolling, right?
Ryan
Roll
Williams,
Tide.
unbelievable. Their offense.
One of the great plays in college football history.
Staving off the comeback. Georgia takes the lead. They go down. They score a touchdown. You're at Vanderbilt this week. Nick Saban a few weeks ago on ESPN said there's always difficult places to play in the SEC. Every one of them, except for Vanderbilt.
Here you go. Vanderbilt got off to a nice little 13-0 lead.
3 wide receivers toward the right. There's the snap. It's a drop back. Vanderbilt will blitz. Quick throw near sideline. This one is deflected. It is intercepted. Picked up by Vanderbilt. There goes Fontenot, and he's all the way down, and he is in for the score. 27 yards. Brandon Fontenot, a pick 6 for the Doors.
All right, so you're watching this game, and Andrew Allegretta from Learfield with the call. If you're a Bama fan, you're already a little concerned, right? It's 13-0. That's no good. You head towards halftime. You're still not sweating too much, but it's 23-14 at the half. So you're getting a little bit nervous. We get into the second half here, and you see Alabama have a swing back. They have a punch back here.
Josh Cuevas, the tight end. Now here's Bernard going to the left side. Milroe, an empty backfield. Gets the snap. Quarterback sweep. Left side. Has blocking. Has the touchdown. Alabama. Great job on the play. It was Brailsford and Booker who pulled on the quarterback sweep, and Alabama looks like Alabama pulling to within 3.
That's what you want to hear your guy Chris Stewart from Learfield tell you if you're a Bama guy, right? They're looking like Alabama again. Back. All is well with the Tide. Well, this one went into the fourth quarter now.
Here we go,
got a fourth quarter game. Here we go. Alabama's not taking control. They need a stop. They got to get a stop here. But Vanderbilt, did they have other ideas?
Working toward the right. There's the snap. It's Pavia. He rolls toward the right. He throws. It is caught by Cameron Johnson. Touchdown. Vanderbilt. A 6-yard strike. Pavia to Johnson. The Doors build the lead late against the Crimson Tide here at a sold-out First Bank Stadium.
Allegretta, Learfield, the call again. Oh, boy, Beam. That was 40 points on the board.
Yeah.
40-28. Bama would come back, get one more score to make things interesting. 40-35. They're going to kick it deep. They got all 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. And what happens? Vanderbilt just marches right up the field, kills the clock. Pavia hits a nice little outside throw. He has a pressure in his face, hits his running back up the sideline, first down. They keep it on the ground. Bama can't stop him. And then Bama's cornerback, Malachi Moore, just completely loses his mind as they're kneeling the ball out. And Vanderbilt, the Commodores, beat Alabama, the number 1 team in the nation, 40-35. They almost beat top 10 Mizzou.
Yeah.
Who they got hammered today by Texas A&M. We'll tell you about that one. Almost beat Mizzou last week. Lost in double overtime on a missed field goal. They beat number 1. First time they've ever done that.
It wasn't a fluke either. 418 total yards for the Commodores to 394 for Alabama. What is that going to look like? That is a bad day to be a Tide fan. 40-35, your final in that game. Obviously the biggest upset of the college football weekend, and will be, because there ain't no getting bigger than that one. First win, Timmy, you mentioned, against an AP number 1 of all time, and a 22-game losing streak to Alabama all came to an end today. Staying down in the SEC, Georgia takes down Auburn 31-13. No problem for the Dogs in that one. 7th-ranked Penn State 27. No problem with UCLA. UCLA scored only 11 points, 27-11. The one you just mentioned, Texas A&M at home, ranked 25th in the country. Eli Drinkwitz coming in this week, banning people from the practice facility because they had relations with Texas A&M and players on their team.
The relation is sister and brother. For those that don't know that story, there's a Missouri recruiting or scouting staffer, the sister of Marcel Reed for Texas A&M, and she was not allowed anywhere around the Mizzou practices or facilities this week. Well, Eli, turns out it didn't really matter much. She somehow got the plan anyway and got it to her brother.
12, Ole Miss, 27, South Carolina, 3 in that one. SMU upsets Louisville in an ACC game, 34-27. And the Hoosiers of Indiana, bowl eligible, Kurt Signetti on the road at Northwestern in the fake awesome stadium by the lake. 41-24. Other scores from around the Big Ten. Nebraska holds on against Rutgers, hands them their first loss of the season. Wisconsin, no problems with Purdue today, 52-6. And then from last night, Oregon did win their game against Michigan State. Very identical box scores to what we saw Ohio State do against Michigan State.
We had some Ohio battles here in the MAC today, too, Beam. You have Toledo taking down Miami 30-20. Rockets, a nice little 4-1. And BG went on the road to Akron, won that one 27-20. And I saw somebody post this out earlier this week that once we hit Thursday, we have football every single day.
Like 58 straight days.
Yeah, we have football every day. It'll be, out of both of our eyeballs until Christmas, I think.
Until we get to the new year.
Until you don't want it anymore.
It's just going to be too much.
With that midweek action, it's going to make you feel right at home.
Big congrats to the Guards today, taking down the Tigers 7-0 in game number 1 of the ALDS. 5 runs coming in the first inning before they even recorded an out. So a good job.
Nice and easy.
Good job by the Guards today, taking down the Tigers 7-0, 1-0 game lead in the ALDS. Today's broadcast is presented by Safelite Auto Glass. Again, the final score today, 35-7. Ohio State takes down Iowa. Coming up next, we're going to hear from head coach Ryan Day as the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Got school spirit? The Junto welcomes friends, families, and alumni to come together for a weekend getaway or staycation this football season. As a guest of the Junto, enjoy complimentary transportation to all Saturday home football games. On game day, gather, imbibe, and dine at Little West Tavern, our neighborhood eatery featuring wood-fired select cuts, a range of classic pours, and weekend watch parties. Enjoy on-site dining, downtown views, and plenty of school spirit from the Junto, your new home away from home. Visit thejuntohotel.com for more information and to book your stay.
Hey Columbus, looking for the perfect day trip? Head to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Dive into football history, see legendary players, and enjoy interactive exhibits. Fun for the whole family. Visit ProFootballHOF.com for tickets. The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, where it's always football season.
For 100 years, our passion at Atlas Butler has been helping people. From those who have relied on us for years to those who call us for the first time. For our team, their families, and our community, Atlas Butler is here to keep Central Ohio safe and comfortable with trusted, convenient service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan.
Ohio State is at Oregon next Saturday. We're going to be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6 p.m. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe. Ohio State takes down Iowa 35-7. More of the Encova Insurance Buckeye postgame show coming up in the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts. And for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Smith wide to the left. First and goal, Ohio State at the Iowa 4. Will Howard under center. Gets the snap, looks, lofts it left corner of the end zone. Jeremiah Smith, one-handed grab for a score as he shoves the defender away from him. Jeremiah Smith with another magical catch, fighting corner to Sean Lee in the corner of the end zone. And the Buckeyes lead 13-0.
It makes the spectacular look normal. Jeremiah Smith, 4 catches, 89 yards, 1 touchdown today. Had a 53-yard long, which he had to hold out from Will Howard on a little bit of an underthrow. Another day at the office. Mama, there goes that man.
Yeah, another touchdown, and that's every game that he's ever played in. That's a 5 spot. He is, I think this is so cool, too. The record for touchdowns in a row to start an Ohio State career, it's a guy that's right under our nose. I was asking people, you gave me the trivia earlier in the show, 4 touchdown games. I've been asking people around the office this all week long, who would you have for that? You know, the record for most consecutive touchdowns, games with a touchdown to start their Buckeye career. And no one got this, and he's a man on the team. That's what's great about it.
Emeka?
It's Travion.
Wow.
It's Travion Henderson. 8 straight games, he scored a touchdown to start his career. And now he's more than halfway there to tying Travion. And probably a little tougher as a receiver to get that done, right? You're running back in many ways to score the ball.
Jeremiah Smith, the first Buckeye in history to catch a touchdown in each of the first 5 games of any season.
Boy, yeah.
Pretty good.
It's. I feel like we didn't talk about him enough, but that's because Emeka had a 3 touchdown catch game.
We've talked about him a lot.
We know that Jeremiah is special. He loves that right hand. He does.
His last 2 touchdown catches, he's used 2 hands. Think about that.
Yeah. Right.
Not 4.
He doesn't.
2.
One of his hands is like both of our hands, but not really.
Like all 4 of our hands, actually.
Right. I think we'd find a way to screw that up. So Ryan Day checking in with the head coach. If you missed some of his comments at the podium after this one, he did talk a little bit more about Emeka Egbuka and how he is just simply one of the best in the nation.
Yeah, I think Emeka's one of the best receivers in the country, and it hurt him last year to have the high ankle sprain, but when you think about where he was, the year before and now what he's doing now, you see a complete player. He's the captain of our team. He's a warrior. He does all the dirty work like he did in the Michigan State game, but then to see him come back and have 3 touchdown catches and contested all 3 of those was huge. And so, no, he's a leader. He's a warrior. And he's I think, again, one of the better receivers in the entire country, and he's only getting better the more he plays.
That's right, Ryan. We talked about that. The fact that all 3 catches were contested catches, and they were working man's touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, we talked about this guy a bit on the front of the show, a lot actually, because he's that good and was that good today. Sonny Styles, and how much he has improved in front of our eyes.
Yeah, they did. And you look at, Higgins for them, number 34. I think he had 171 tackles last year. How many inside zones has he seen in his life, And you think about where Eichenberg was, and you think about, some of the great linebackers that are out there. They've played a lot They've seen a lot. They're able to diagnose plays, and the more Sonny plays, the more he's able to learn and diagnose those plays faster. And Cody played strong in there. Arvell was in the mix. Safeties were strong. Lathan came up, made some plays. Caleb played well again. So they were all involved with it. But no, good to see Sonny get more and more of those reps, because every rep he gets is an investment in his future, and he'll play faster and faster the more he plays.
And he was playing faster and faster, and you can see that evolution with Sonny Styles as linebacker, because he was leading the team with tackles today with 7 of them. Also had 2 TFLs. On Jay Higgins, just for a second, yeah.
Oh, he's glad he mentioned him.
Probably the best linebacker in the country.
Probably. 14 tackles, a sack, a TFL, and the forced fumble on Jeremiah Smith. One of the best players in the country.
From tracking him down, too.
Tracking him down from behind.
Was pretty impressive.
Really, really incredible player. It was fun to watch him. And then come away with the win.
Today's broadcast is presented by Safe Flight Auto Glass. Again, the final score 35-7 in favor of Ohio State over Iowa. Coming up next, we're going to wrap things up, hand out some Buckeye leaves as the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show continues on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes. Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Get out there and have some fun in a new Toyota truck. Now through November 4th, get 1.9 APR financing or $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra. Excludes TRD Pro. Or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Nobody builds better trucks than Toyota. Let's go places.
Imagine a tailgate. The heat of the flame, the sizzle of the burger, the squeeze of the ketchup. Grilling is essential to tailgating as the game itself. Weber grills are there in the hours, minutes, and even seconds before kickoff. Before the best damn band in the land plays the battle cry, signaling it's time to take the field. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. This season, Weber created an officially licensed limited edition Ohio State grill inspired by the iconic Buckeye helmets. Find the best damn grill in the land at local Ohio retailers.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join American Electric Power, Donato's Kroger, the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Buckeyes Care. Again, the final score today from the Horseshoe, Ohio State takes down Iowa 35-7. For the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offers a variety of options and pricing that will meet your needs. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour of Ohio Stadium today.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
It's Bobby Carpenter. Join us Monday morning at 6 for the Morning Juice on 97.1 The Fan.
This is the Encova Insurance Buckeye Postgame Show on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
McLaughlin over the ball. Snaps to Will Howard. Back to throw. Lofts that left corner of the end zone. Oh, what a catch made. What a catch made by Emeka Ibuka. His third of the day as he was positioned behind a defensive back. And it's 34-zip Ohio State.
That's all you need from the office out of Emeka. Yeah, 9 catches, 71 yards, 3 touchdowns. All 3 of them being contested. Had 10 targets, brought down 9 of them. 33% were touchdowns. Really good day.
Great day for Emeka. Will Howard throwing the football, 21 of 25 for 209 yards, 4 touchdowns. We talked about it earlier in the show, though. The one thing that I'm a little bit nervous and hesitant going into next week, it's different. This is a different animal, and we've seen 2 conference games now where Will's had a couple of throws that you'd want to have back.
Half a second earlier.
Yeah, half a second earlier. There was one that could have been picked off on the first drive that wasn't, that Bryson Rogers made a nice catch on and wound up getting a first down. And then, of course, last week against Michigan State, the one that he threw, that the pick that actually happened last week, just not a good ball.
Yeah.
And you give it up in a position where the Michigan State defender can almost run it back for a pick 6. And he should have had one in the end zone as well that would have taken points off the board, that they wound up scoring a touchdown on 4th down. So it's going to be a different animal. Will looks really good, but it's going to be different when you're on the road at Oregon.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be
a fun game.
It's going to be a fun game. We've been looking forward to it for a year. The whole offseason we've been looking forward to this game. You're right.
He never got the trip out there for the pandemic. Yeah. So whenever all this mess started happening with the Big Ten, you're thinking about when, even before the schedules were generated, when everything got finalized with adding them in the Big Ten, you were thinking about when do we get to go to Eugene? When are we going out to Oregon? The Pacific Northwest.
Beautiful
it's great.
Out there.
The trees.
Let's
go.
Yeah.
Nike.
If you're listening right now and you're going, have a blast.
Oh, for sure.
Have an awesome time out there. All right, that time of the program. Leaves time.
It's time to hand out some Buckeye leaves.
Everybody on the Buckeyes get Buckeye leaves today. I wanted to save this for the end of the program. Paul and Jim, as we know, are the best 2 at their jobs in America. We are lucky in Central Ohio and across the state and on our affiliates that we get to listen to them. Obviously, we knew coming into the game that Luke Lachey is playing for Iowa. That is Jim's son. We know
5 catches, led them on the stat sheet, 39 yards. He's an NFL guy.
He is an NFL guy. All right, so it had to be an incredible week for Jim, and I thought this was it was one of the funnier moments and really good moments in the broadcast from today. Just take it away from a little bit earlier on.
First down Iowa at the Ohio State 30. Caleb Johnson remains a tailback as Brendan Sullivan works under center. Buckeyes line jump, but they get back, but we get whistles and flags, which we've had very few of.
No, now they're calling a false start. That'd be the first penalty on the Hawkeyes.
False start. Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Oh, Luke.
Can hear Skip.
I thought that was great.
In the back of the box, laughing at that one.
It was terrific.
Oh, Luke.
That is terrific stuff.
Just dad who is immensely proud of his son. Just giving him some stuff right there for the false start penalty. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Luke really is a fantastic football player, and it's tough. You got to travel to Columbus to play the Buckeyes. Not
Grew
many
up
people.
Right down the street in Grandview.
Grandview, Ohio kid. Nobody is really coming into Columbus and beating the Buckeyes unless you're a top 10 type of team. There have not been any losses under Ryan Day to an unranked.
44-0.
44-0.
Ask Kalen DeBoer how his Alabama career has started with that number.
Somebody just shared with me a clip of Nick Saban on with McAfee.
Yeah.
And the quote is, the only place you play in the SEC that's not hard to play in is Vanderbilt. When you play at Vanderbilt, you've got more fans there than they have. That's a quote from Nick Saban from just a couple weeks ago.
That's tough. That's tough. Enjoy the night if you're down there in Nashville. Goalposts are gone out of Vandy Stadium.
Oh, they're out.
They're in some body of water or at some local watering hole right now. Timmy, I had so much fun tonight. What do you say we do it live next Saturday/Sunday evening after what is hopefully a big Buckeyes victory over the Ducks.
Oh, it could be a great Saturday next week. Let's do it, Beam.
The executive producer of Ohio State Radio Sports is Skip Mossick. On behalf of our studio producer, Panama Teddy Holbrook, and for Timmy Hall, I'm Brandon Beam, inviting you to join us Monday night at 6 for Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King, and then Thursday at noon for the Ryan Day Show presented by Roosters. Next week, the Buckeyes are at Oregon. We're going to be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 6 p.m. Ohio State football has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance and by Bob Evans Farms. Once again, the final score today from the Horseshoe: Buckeyes 35, Hawkeyes 7. Today's broadcast was presented by Safe Flight Auto Glass. Thanks for listening. This is the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, team physician for Ohio State Athletics. This has been Buckeye Football from Learfield.
And brought to you locally by State Farm, your Central Ohio Toyota dealers, and by the Diamond Cellar on your home of the Buckeyes. Live and local weekdays beginning at 6 a.m. with Morning Juice on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.